Make a wish for ones with a secret. And if I manifest best, guess I'll keep it. I'm sick, go with the flow, new fate, up phones one day.
All right, welcome back, everyone. We're so excited to have you. As you know, this is all about women you should know in the Coachella Valley. I'm really excited to introduce you to this next lovely lady. I just tore her shop apart and bought a bunch of stuff. So, but that's not all about her. So we are here with Kaylie Feist. We are in her shop, Kaylie Nicole, on El Paseo. So we're really excited. Tell us a little bit about your shop and the aesthetic that you've created here.
So I'm Kaylie Nicole. A little bit about me and my shop is I wanted to bring to the desert a shop for the girls. So like little elevated classics, but for an affordable price point. And really just staples in your closet where anything you get from my store, you can mix and match with items you already have.
And you said two things that I love. Staples and elevated. It's like definitely like an elevated look and super affordable, which is not something you think about when you think about El Paseo. Right? So tell us a little bit. We were trying on clothes and I was overhearing, your journey in fashion, and you love fashion and curating looks and stuff. So tell us a little bit about that.
So I went to school for fashion marketing and management, and I've always been like a shopaholic and like, I wish I could get paid to shop. So it was kind of always my dream to do something in fashion. I've always worked in retail. I love styling people. I love just the whole experience that you don't really get places these days. So I wanted to just bring something where girls can come. It's like a friendship. You're shopping with your friend. Cute pieces. I forgot.
No, you're good. You're good. You're right on the track. Okay. So you've curated an amazing shopping experience for people to come, feel comfortable, get some fantastic pieces. What prompted you to open up your own shop? Like, how does that come about?
So I've always worked in stores, and I always really built customer relationships. Like, she remembered me from Loft, which was like 8 years ago. And I was like, I need to just do this for myself. And people always were like, oh, where'd you get that? Where'd you get that? And I was just sending links for free. Like, this is what I'm wearing. This is where I got it. And people would always say, I wish I could shop in your closet. Yeah. And so my dad was like, you need to open your own store and call it Kaylie's Closet. And I was like, that's kind of cheesy, but let's do Kaylie Nicole.
Yeah, I love it. Sounds fantastic. And it really matches your aesthetic.
Thank you.
So now that's a big decision.
Yes.
Right? So you went from, were you just recently doing retail, like working as an hourly employee?
Yes.
You went from that to finding a place on El Paseo, committing to paying the rent, making sure it looks fabulous.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that. So
I kind of don't make huge changes and decisions often, but when I do, it's like out of nowhere. But backstory is in August of last summer, I took a vacation because I had a bunch of vacation time. So I'm like, well, it's slow, it's summer, let me take a vacation. And I didn't know what to do with myself because I always work, I'm always busy. So I was like going stir crazy. I'm like, I need to work. So I was like, well, work on your goals.
Okay.
And I did like a whole manifest, I guess.
Yeah.
This whole design, I saved inspo. I did like a mock order of the items I would bring into the shop. Like, this is the style, like a whole fake invoice. Like, this is how much I would pay for it. This is what I would sell it for. This is the profit I would make. This is the money I would put in versus the money I would make back. And I was like, wow, that sounds like pretty doable. But I had just bought a house. So I was like, that's like too much to jump into.
Sure.
Like, I need to have promised income right now to pay for my house. So I was like, now is not the time. Like, but for the future, okay, this is like what I want. And I want to keep working little by little for this. Right. So that was in August. And then after that, it would just not leave me alone. Like, every day in my mind, I was like, I want that store. Like, I want to be working for myself. I want my own store. Like, I've always been a really hard worker. I need to do that for myself. Right. And so it just kept bothering me, I guess. So December, out of nowhere, I just randomly was like, well, let me just look up spaces. Like, I'm still not ready, but let me search it. So I just searched places for rent, retail spaces for rent in Palm Desert. And I found this location, and the price, I was like, okay, well, that's not bad for El Paseo. So it needed like a huge remodel because it was an attorney's office before. Like there was a wall down the middle right here. I showed you guys, it was all textured walls, green, nasty carpet. The ceilings were down to where that part is. Like,
oh wow.
Yeah, huge remodel. But I had my vision that I saved in August, and I was like, my best friend just launched her interior design remodel business.
Okay.
When I showed her that in August, she's like, it's totally doable. Like, that's beautiful. You need to do it. My husband works for them, and then my dad is also a contractor, so he has all his guys. So I was like, let me just get like numbers from them. But I was like, let me go see the space and see how I feel while I'm in there.
Yeah, super important.
As soon as I got in here, I was like about to cry.
Oh, you felt it right away.
Yes, I was here with my mom, and I was like, I could just envision it. It's going to make me cry right now. But so I was like, I need to run numbers and make sure, because I had a savings, because I always knew that I wanted to do my own business.
Right.
So I always saved for that. And then, I was like, well, that was literally the next day that I came to see it. And I was like, it feels good. Let me do the numbers. And then I was like, okay, well, now let me just put an offer in and see, like, just little steps at a time, and literally everything just
fell into place.
Right. And I was like, I have to jump on it and take this risk.
Yeah, 100%. So it's really interesting. I want to bring up the running the numbers part, so don't let me forget that. But you talked about manifesting it. Yes. And we hear about this all the time, and I talk about this. It's a real thing, because if you had never just sat down and created your fake store, right, you would never have been able to say, well, actually, like, that totally makes sense, and I could really do that.
And it sparked something.
And then it was like, okay, so if I can do that, what does it actually look like to find the space? Oh, so although you thought about it and you created your vision, you also took little steps in the direction of. And at each time, if it had been like, well, this is going to be too much for me to rent, you could have pivoted and found something else. But it just kept falling in place.
Yes. I kept saying, if it's not the time, it's not the space. And like, it won't work out, and I'll be okay with that, because that just means there's something better at a better time.
100%.
But it just kept working out. And even creepier, I went back and I found a journal from last winter, I want to say. It was like exactly a year apart, and I wrote in my journal, I'm going to have a store on El Paseo. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And I was like, that's creepy. I don't really remember writing that.
Yeah. Super interesting, though, because your mind is such a powerful thing.
It really is.
And it can be also the thing that makes you never do anything.
Exactly.
Because if you had said to yourself, oh, well, it's always going to be too expensive. How am I going to get the clothes to fit it? Like, what? Where will I get the people to help me do it? You would have never done it.
Exactly.
Yeah, you would have never done it. So it's super important. Okay, so you ran the numbers. You created an invoice. Is that something that you learned in school? So that's like, because that is so not what I would think to do. And so I really want to touch on that.
So I went to school for fashion marketing and management, and we did learn a lot about like business, advertising, marketing, like all of that, and then also just managing other stores. I've gotten a lot of experience because I worked for a small business as well, and I like ran and managed that store. So I learned and taught myself and brought everything that I learned from school, like a combination of all of it, really helped me get to that point.
And that original, little business plan you wrote, is that still true for you today? Was it pretty much spot on, like what your cost to put out and what you're making and all of that stuff? Is it pretty accurate?
Yeah, I didn't get the brand that was all over it, but they don't do wholesale. But it was the vibe, like trousers, everything, the price point.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Okay. So you did that last August, which it's almost been a year, but that's not when you opened.
No, I opened March 23rd.
Okay. So we're talking like a couple of months.
Yeah.
How is business?
Amazing. And I have to give it all the thanks to the girls supporting me. Yeah. Like, it's not like, oh, I did all of this. Sure. Like, I have a whole community of women supporting me. They come in, they post my store, someone walks in the next day, oh, I saw my friend post, or oh, my friend wore, and it's literally just all my customers.
Yeah.
And they say if you treat your customers right, they'll do the marketing for you, and that's completely my customers. They're amazing.
That's awesome. Have you done any, I mean, I know you're on IG and things like that, but have you done any other advertising for your business? No. That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
Instagram.
Very, very cool. Very, I like I told you earlier, I love what you do on it. It really imparts the vibe here, what you do on your Instagram. So awesome. So, and you know what? It's so true. Like nobody does anything alone. Like you can create the most fabulous store and have the most fabulous product for the best price ever. But if you're not a great business person or you can't create that relationship, it doesn't really matter. Nobody will walk through the door.
Yeah, no, your product is important, but your customers are even more important because without them, you can have all this great product, but no one's buying
You'll
it.
just be sitting there collecting dust.
So no, customers are the number one, and you should always cherish and treat them and do whatever you can to keep them.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So business is good. We're like, what are we, four months deep?
Yes.
And so it's now summertime, and you're from here.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm sure that you remember there was a time when everything closed down, especially on El Paseo.
Yes.
Because nobody is shopping.
Right.
How do you feel about that?
So I've worked on El Paseo since 2021. So I knew that summer would be slow, and I planned for that. Like I was careful. Business brain.
I
was careful, like with my spending. I wanted to make sure I had enough for if it's slow and dead for the summer. I didn't want to be panicking because that's the worst feeling ever. And it did start to get slow, so I used that to my advantage, and I put myself online. Like I did all that by myself. I took the photos, modeled the photos, built the website, and launched. So that being slow, it gave me the opportunity to do that.
Sure.
Because people have been asking since I opened, but I was like, no, why it's busy? I want, like, the store always comes first, and the people walking in the doors, like, I want them to have the best experience here. So I waited for it to get slow. And then when it was like ghost town, I'm like, okay, now I can start taking the photos.
Right.
Focusing on, because I'm like ADHD, so I can't focus on the website if I'm talking to people in here.
Yeah.
So I got that launched. And then also a benefit of mine is most of my clients are local year round. It's not the snowbirds. Like the snowbirds are a bonus.
Sure. But they're only here when the weather's nice.
Right.
And it's so true. So prior to this, I did restaurant work, right? I always bartended and managed and things like that. And you always do well if you create a local following.
Yes.
If the person who works around the corner will come see you, like in my case, it would be like, come have lunch with you twice a week. That's how I'd always make money.
Yes.
So it's like, we got to give love to the locals 100% because small businesses don't survive without the locals. And we're all out here in 118, 120 this fucking week.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like sweating. I was literally thinking, am I going to show sweat in this outfit that I'm about to?
I know. I was thinking that too. And I was like,
yeah, I'm like, well, I think I can sweat a little bit in these pants, you know, so, but it's really true. You have to have that local following. So, and your whole life you've lived here.
So I'm originally from Washington, but I moved here when I was 9. So
pretty much, right? And Palm Desert or La Quinta?
La Quinta.
Okay.
Yeah, but I had friends in Palm Desert, like everywhere.
Sure.
Yeah.
So what has been the thing that surprised you most about having a shop? Like, did you have a fear that you were like, I don't know how this is going to work out? Or did you think it was going to be really easy and it didn't? Like, what was something that really surprised you along the way?
That it was easier than I thought.
I love that.
Yeah.
So you take a huge risk and you open a shop on El Paseo and it's easier than you thought.
Yeah, I signed the lease and I'm not going to lie, I started flipping out.
I bet.
And my husband, thank God for him, he reassured me. He's like, why are you worried? Like, you were made for this. This is what you do. This is what you're amazing at. Like, you're going to kill it. Don't worry. And he's like, and if anything, I'm still working, so it's okay. But I'm so, like, used to having a paycheck. Stable paycheck.
You know, every 2 weeks or whatever, you're getting paid. Yeah.
And so I was like, and what if it doesn't? I know that business, like, it takes a while to make your money back, to start people finding you. And no, it's just been incredible. And knock on wood. Don't do that.
I saw you.
Stress free this whole time.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's because you thought about your plan, you researched all of the stuff. So I'm not great at this thing, so I just want to point it out. You had your plan, you researched everything, you made sure your numbers were really going to work, and then you just went with it.
Yeah.
So that's really like a very small margin for failure. Right? So good job.
Thank you.
Now, that being said, like if you're like me, who's terrible at that stuff, it doesn't mean you shouldn't give it a try, right? Because you know somebody who's done it before, who's willing to share how they did it.
Yes, and I don't gatekeep anything with.
I love that.
Like, I want all of us to win. I want people to go chase their dreams, like
I love
do
that.
stuff on their own. So when people ask, I'll share, because we should all be doing this.
100%, because there's plenty to go around for everyone.
Right.
So why not? Like, what if we had 100 really fabulous shops like this?
Yeah, exactly.
So tell me a little bit about the line, the brand that you've chosen. I noticed, like, for me personally, the fabrics are really nice.
Thank you.
I tried on a pair of pants or shorts. Shorts are so hard for me. Amazing. Like, the fit was really nice. It felt like really good quality. But again, I'm not, well, I won't tell you how much this one, but like if I just wanted to buy a couple things, it wouldn't be that expensive.
Yeah. Yes. So there was a few brands that I shopped for, like myself, before I even opened this. So I just reached out to them on Instagram and told them I'm opening either Instagram, or I would go to their website and get their email. And I just tell them, hey, I'm opening a clothing store in Palm Springs area. Like, it's a women's clothing boutique. Like, sent them the vibe board. And do you guys do wholesale, or if not, do you offer like bulk order discounts? And most of them said yes. Some of them, they only sell to like customers. And then also there's websites where it's all for wholesalers. So I just go through, and if I would wear it or put it in my closet, I bring it in the store.
So was there a moment when you thought, well, why would they give me their product?
No, because if someone says no, I'm like, I don't care.
I love that. That's really good, because that's a real thing. Like, that's a challenge for people. Like, why would anybody put that in my store? Like, why would they, So that's amazing. You just reached out and handled it. That's
I was
really cool.
surprised that most of them were like, oh, yeah, here. Or no, we don't, but we'll make a discount code for you. I'm like, oh, that's cool. This is easy. But I wouldn't have been offended if they said no, because I'm like, I'm just starting. You guys have no idea who I am.
Right.
So
right.
I'll reach out again
when I'm,
right.
Exactly.
But yeah, no,
awesome.
You just have to go with it, not be offended, not think you're not good enough, because if you know what you do and you do it well and you're passionate about it, you're more than enough.
And I think it's the last part. Like, when you're passionate about something, everything else will fall into place. Now, you have to, like you did, you have to do your research and know your numbers and understand what you're doing. And you have to be passionate about it, because at that point you're willing to work hard for it.
Exactly. And it doesn't feel like work.
It doesn't feel like work.
All the time, and it's like,
you don't have any employees yet, do you?
No, I don't know if I ever will either.
No, you're going to come in every now and then, and you're going to have some fabulous people working here, and you'll just come in as a celebrity.
That's what people say, but I never don't want to be here or a part of it. Like, I always want to be 100%
I see what you're saying.
Involved.
Yeah, and you definitely can. You definitely can. But and also it's an opportunity for you to teach somebody what you know.
Yes, true.
Because what you've done is, like, it's a very well thought out plan, and it's really, really working.
Thank you.
Yes. Let's see here. If you could give, what would be your one piece of advice to somebody who's kind of thinking, like, they have a passion, they're trying to figure it out, they don't want to work for somebody else anymore? Like, how do you encourage them to do what you did?
Just do it. Don't overthink it. Just do it. Obviously, have a plan. Don't just quit your job and like not have things lined up, but go for it. Don't be afraid of failure, because the people who succeed, they failed a few times, or they weren't afraid to fail and they went for it. Right. So just don't let failure and the fear of failing stop you. Right. Step out of your comfort zone, because you don't get anywhere where you're comfortable. Like, I've been comfortable for a long time in places where I just don't like change, but you have to change to get to the next level. Yeah, so, definitely. And every time I've taken a risk, I've never regretted it. So that's right. Take the risk. Take the risk. No risk comes no reward. That's right. So how do people find your shop? I know you're on IG, so that's Kaylie Nicole, right? Shop Kaylie Nicole. Shop Kaylie Nicole on IG, and then where would they find you? How would they find you on El Paseo? So I'm behind Blonde Boutique, which also love the girls in there. and then JC Cafe, and I love all of them too.
That food's really good.
Yes,
Yeah.
so good.
What are your hours right now for summer?
For summer, I'm closed Sunday, Monday,
Okay.
and then 10 to 5 the rest of the week.
Okay.
Starting September, I'll be back Mondays, but I'll always be closed Sundays.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But I will open the doors for people, like if they're like, oh, I can only, because some girls, they're hairstylists, or
Sure.
they work retail jobs, they have the same hours as me. So if they can only come Sunday, I go to church down here, I could skate over here after and
Hop
then
right
meet
in.
them
That's
for
awesome.
whatever time they can be here.
That's awesome. And you like to help people figure out a look too,
Oh,
right?
Yeah, it helps my shopping addiction. I just live through you guys.
I
Yes,
love that.
it
Well,
really
I gave you a really good
You
fix
did.
today.
I got my fix for sure.
I love it.
Yes.
Is there anything else you want to say to anybody?
No, thank you for being here.
Yeah, no,
Thank
I'm
you
so
for interviewing me.
excited. I found a new shop to find some really great staples. I'm super excited.
Thank
You did a great job. It's
Thank
beautiful in
you
here.
so
And it
much.
smells so good. Oh my
Thank
gosh.
you.
I was like, wow, it smells so nice in here.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, I'm super excited for you.
Thank you
Yes,
so much.
congratulations. Yay.
Oh my gosh, should I stop?
Oh, you're fine.
I just killed you.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Make a wish for ones with a secret. And if